episode of Life, Love, and the Cosmos. We're talking about life right now. As you know, there's a lot going on, and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling real emotional. All my empaths out there, I know you guys really feel the anger and sadness and hurt and fear that's going on right now. When it comes to emotions, don't hold them in. Express yourself and let the tears fall, because when we hold them in, it causes us disease. It really does. I have an interesting perspective being someone who is first generation American, African, and also Black. A lot of this is echoing exactly what happened last summer in Sudan. Protests actually started even the December before, but what eventually happened was you had the whole country uniting in protest. It was really beautiful to watch, but also painful, because you had a very peaceful protest. You had people making sure that nobody could come into the protest area with any weapons. You had people feeding the poor. You had people coming together. Sudan has a lot of tribal divisions, so you had different tribes, people coming from all around the country to the capital to protest to get rid of their government. In that situation, the face of tyranny was people with the same skin color. In that situation, the face of tyranny was the military and was the government. The military, the police, the government, they are all agents of the state. And one thing that I just wanted to point out is that tyranny exists all over the world. In the US, there are a lot more Black and brown people who are oppressed than anyone else, but we still live in a debt slave system. We still don't have free healthcare. We have very little resources for curing all of the trauma that exists in our society. We have very high rates of suicide. We have high rates of addiction. We have a lot wrong with our society. It's very easy for politicians to scapegoat the problems that are going on in their society, to scapegoat the feelings of distress and sadness and anger and anxiety and depression that their people feel because they're not really living freely, and blame that on others. So what I see in America is a lot of division. It's pushed by the media, it's pushed by politicians, and it's division around gender, around race, around profession, around economic position, around politics. It's very easy to discern in this world unity or division. It's one or the other. So while, yes, I'm not happy with the police, they represent the people who want to keep you divided. They represent and work for the people who want a hierarchy where they can be on top. Most other people are fighting for equality, unity, peace, justice. That's what a lot of people want, but it's not what everyone wants. So let's remember what the real enemy is. The real enemy is tyranny. When it comes to spirituality and consciousness and the evolution of the spirit, which is what we are all here for, taking a step back, life is spiritual. People seem to put this category of spirituality and then the rest of life, and that's really not how it works. We are spirits in physical bodies here to learn lessons. That's it. That's what's going on here. And everything that happens is a lesson, and everything that happens is a result of some actions that we take. We're all here to grow, and we have individual lessons to learn, and we have collective lessons to learn. On an individual basis, you already had the coronavirus forcing a lot of us to go inside, forcing a lot of us to be in our houses and then go inside of ourselves, start to examine our unhappiness, our families, our relationships, our employment. So now collectively, we have seen that there's a problem with our society. We've seen that there's a problem with a lot of people within our society's hearts. And it's time for us to start getting creative. We are creative beings. We have the capability to create. Look at the world around you and look at all the beautiful, amazing that we've done. A lot of what we are creating is based upon making profit, but it doesn't have to be like only that. We can start to create things that are going to benefit us as a society. Because the truth is, spirituality and growth, it's not all just about love and light and peace. It's really about strength and power. Sometimes when I see how heavily like Gandhi and MLK and Bob Marley are pushed on us, they're these symbols of peace and love. And while that is important and it has its place, there is very little that's really changed. And I'm talking about completely overturned without turmoil and pain. It's not a pleasant experience necessarily to give birth to a child and go through pregnancy. There's a process going on here. There's a refinement of who we are individually and collectively. When you are like purifying something, you let it boil and you let like the impure parts separate, and then you cleanse those out. So there's this wider process of, on an individual level as well as collectively, a purification. What I want to challenge everyone that I know to do is start to creatively think about how to really change this world. We're not given any challenges and any problems that don't have solutions. So a lot of this, I believe right now, with the injustices within our society, it's about us coming together and working coordinated. When I meditated on this, the image I got was like a very long canoe, and that canoe was floating down a river, and there were a bunch of people on that canoe who had to row in coordination to really get that boat moving and make it down that river. And so what I'm seeing now is that we need to work collectively in coordination to really make changes. And it can't just be the Black people trying to do it. And it can't just be America. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're shifting into a new age. We've moved into the age of Aquarius. We're shifting into a new earth. It's a new epoch. We are at the dawning of a new age. Which side of history do you want to be on? I've thought a lot about suffering and the place that suffering has within our journeys, because there is so much suffering in this world. And because I felt it so strongly, collective suffering, individual suffering, and it makes my heart ache. But I also know that it motivates me. It motivates me to do. And for the most part, you know how humanity is. We're complacent when shit is good. As long as it's comfortable enough, we don't necessarily push ourselves. When things start to get comfortable, that's when change starts to happen, and that's on an individual level. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you really start making the changes that you needed to make in your life 5-10 years ago. And I think collectively as a society, we're kind of hitting rock bottom at this point. And enough is enough. It's that enough is enough point. Sending you guys lots of love. I'm very hopeful. Yes, this is an intense time. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Try to get centered in terms of the emotions and feelings. But also, you have control over whether you want to have an optimistic or pessimistic outlook. And I suggest that you focus on the outcome that you want instead of the worst case scenario, because where energy and attention goes, that's where we manifest. So take care of yourselves, be safe out there, sending you lots and lots of love, and talk to you soon. Bye.